Good morning. Coming to you from beautiful Medora, North Dakota. We drove out yesterday after worship and took in the musical last night and met our daughter and family out here, and we had a really enjoyable evening. And today we're going to do a little bit of sightseeing, go for breakfast pretty quick, and then we're going to head for home. But it's one of these days and one of these places that you come out here and you appreciate so much of the beauty of the earth. And you're looking around at, up the painted canyons and the rugged landscape, and it makes you really think. And as I was driving out yesterday, I mentioned to Cheryl, I said, we drive out here on these roads, and we're in awe of the looks and the beauty and the ruggedness. And think about those first ones that traveled through here and trying to find a path that they could go through. And talked with a friend that her husband and his brother were part of the road crew that built a lot of the roads out here, and it just makes it a little bit more personal and stuff. But beautiful place to come, and a lot of things going on out here that way. Today we look at Romans chapter 2 and 3. It'll be just kind of brief. I had a big drop of rain just fell on me here. The sun is shining, as you can see as well, but there are some clouds. But big drops of rain are falling. One just caught my ear. But chapter 2 talks about God's righteousness and God's righteous judgment, and that when we judge, we need to really be careful, because we're guilty of the same things that we judge others with. But God is righteous and correct in his judgment. And there's a reminder to the Jews that the Jews are just as guilty as the Gentiles, and that circumcision, to say that they are children of Abraham, makes no difference. That's not a saving factor, and doesn't make a bit of difference in their eternal salvation. But what makes a difference is faith in God, the way we live, the way we treat others, and all of that. Chapter 3 talks about, begins with defending God's judgment, and then we get into verse 9. He quotes from Psalm 14 and 53 as he's talking about. He says, "What then? Are we better than they? Not at all." And so often we think of ourselves as better than others, better than somebody for whatever reason it might be. But it's written, we're not. And he says, we previously charged both Jews and Greeks that they are all under sin. And we are. It doesn't make any difference, that none of us is perfect in the law. None of us is exempt from the laws, and all of us, each and every one of us, is human and has sinned and is guilty of sin. But God's righteousness comes through faith. Verse 23 of chapter 3 says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Jesus Christ his Lord." That's verses 23 and 24. And it's, God sent Jesus into the world. And that's where verse 25 says, when God set forth the propitiation by his blood, he set forth the payment of Jesus, of our sins, by Jesus' blood and by his innocent suffering and death, and proved the reality of his promises in the resurrection. The last paragraph in chapter 3 talks about boasting. He says, "What is boasting? It's excluded. By what law? Of works? No, but by the law of faith." And then verse 28 is another real important one to think and to know. "Therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith apart from the law," because none of us can follow the law. We just can't do that. And so we're justified by our faith in Jesus Christ. In the very last verse, do we make void the law through faith? Certainly not. We establish the law. The law, the sin, the commandments, and all of those things point out to us, the sin that we commit, and all of those things. And it's only by faith and trust in Jesus and trust in God, that we have that salvation. granted to us, freely given. Can't be earned. Can't be something that we claim that we have done on our own. But it's by faith, by trust, by saying thank you to God for your grace and mercy. May you have a rich and blessed day.